Hi there, VC. It's Steve Whitty. Sunday morning. It's quite remarkable. The sun is shining. It feels very light. It feels like spring is on its way here, despite how cold it felt last night. I hope everybody is well. I'm good. I'm good. It's all good here. I was a bit croaky. I was at a gig at the shop last night, followed by curry afterwards. So I'm not saying I'm feeling fragile because I only had a couple of beers, but no, it just feels a bit croaky. That's all. This video is Vinyl Finds February Part 2, and I've got a feeling I'm going to have to do a Part 3 as well. Otherwise, this has been a very long video. So let's see some more of my purchases and what I've been listening to in February this year. We're in a new month, March, so hope everyone's well. Right, so first up, Black Sabbath, Never Say Die, 1978. Nice copy I got here. Found it in a charity shop with the sleeve. The sleeve's a shiny sleeve on it. This album was the last album to feature the original lineup. During the making of this, Ozzy had left the band and they'd got another guy in. I'm not sure. It's from a guy from Savoy Brown, for Dave Walker or something like that. Dan Walker, someone like that, who was in Savoy Brown, and he'd written. Then Ozzy decided to come back, but wouldn't record some of the stuff that the band had recorded with his replacement. It was all a bit of a mess. And there are some good bits on the album, but there's some bits that not. I mean, Bill Ward does one vocals on one of the tracks on here, and it's primarily because Ozzy wouldn't sing it, have anything to do with it. Not long after the tour, Ozzy was kicked out of the band. Things had come to head. Many will say this is the worst, the original lineup's worst album, and I could see that. I can see that. Yes, it's I don't know. It's to say there are good points on the album, but there's a lot that miss, and I think the situations, drugs, had just really taken over everybody at that point. And I think it's probably one of those where they could have done with just somebody just sitting them down and saying, "Look, get yourself sorted." But history showed that for Ozzy, getting kicked out of Sabbath was probably the best thing that happened to him. For his own brand. A band that I don't have enough of in collection is Blue Oyster Cult. Tyranny Mutation. This came out in 1973. This is a Dutch pressing. I don't really know much about Blue Oyster Cult. Yes, I know. Don't Fear the Reaper because it's the hit single. But this is only the second album I've got on vinyl. I've got. So it's a band I need to probably explore a little bit more. And it's not a bad album on all. I think. They're not. They're a good rock band, and I say I just need to explore them a little bit more. I think just to satisfy my curiosity. I found this. This is an upgrade. This is an American edition of Shades of Deep Purple. My own copy, previous copy, was a Harvest reissue in the 70s. So it's, and as I say, it's American. It's on the Tetragrammaton Records, which I think was something that Bill Cosby had something to do with. A very clean copy. There is a mark on it, which I thought, that might affect it a little bit. But I took a punt and it plays clean, considering it's over 50 years old. Obviously, Hush is on here, which was a big hit in the US. The good version of Help, Hey Joe, Mandrake Root, which was a life staple even with Gillan in the band. And the version of Oyster So Glad, which Cream had previously covered themselves. Yeah, I mean, in the UK at this time, Deep Purple didn't mean much to anyone. So I'm pretty pleased to find this. And so the other copy, I think I'll keep that aside and use that as VCLT. Sort of changing track, and again, another band I haven't really got much in the vinyl collection. It's Depeche Mode, Violator, 1990. Probably contains their. I've said this is possibly my favourite. I know a couple of people disagreed with me. Possibly their best album. You got Personal Jesus in here, World in My Eyes. The song "Enjoy the Silence" was the big hit single for them. It was the best, voted the best. It was declared the best single in 1990 in the Brit Awards. And you know, I mean, I was used to Depeche Mode from the early 80s, where it was a bit sugary pop. But suddenly the transformation into this more dark, almost industrial rock band was almost complete with this album. Brilliant album to have. Porcupine by Echo and the Bunnymen. This came out in 1983. I'm not sure if it's the second or third album. It's got standout tracks on here, the two singles, Cutter and Back of Love. Stunning cover. I think this photo was taken in Iceland. Not sure if they're totally fully dressed for such weather, but hey. Yeah, another good album of that time. I think 83, coming up to 84 with Heavens Up Here. Sorry, with Ocean Rain. Echo Bunnymen were getting into their peak. They really were quite at the indie top of the tree towards that time of the early 80s. Album I'm pleased to get hold of. This is Rory Gallagher's Irish Tour 74. As it says, 3 sides of it was recorded on the Irish Tour. Rory Gallagher did. Now, Rory's from Southern Ireland, but the significance is that he was one of the few artists in that period that was going to tour, prepared to tour Northern Ireland, play Belfast and like. At that time, the Troubles really were bad. It really was at the height. It was always somewhat on the news about either a soldier or a civilian being killed. You had the story of the Miami show band who were attacked by loyalist terrorists. And 3 of them got killed. There's a documentary about that on Netflix. So he was greatly appreciated because he was one of the few acts that would go across the north of the border when it really was not, when it was deemed particularly unsafe. You might see in the top left-hand corner that the previous owner has attached his concert ticket, and this must be on touring on the back of the album. So Derek Block Limited presents Rory Gallagher and his band plus support group on Monday the 15th of December 1975 at 19:30 hours at the ground floor at Birmingham Town Hall. The princely cost of £2.20. And then you can see, obviously, when you get through, they take the stub and they stamp the ticket. So I suppose if people wanted to go outside for a cigarette, though latecomers would not be admitted until a convenient break in the proceedings, i.e. you've got to wait for the support band. Great album, one of the great live albums. Again, an artist I need to pick up more, but some Rory Gallagher. Now, next album, couple of albums. in my early 20s, I listened to a lot of metal. One of my favourites, and the guy at college who was introduced me to this band, Halloween. This is Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 1, released in 1987. I remember at the time they were described as thrash, but I wouldn't have said it was thrash metal. Power metal. Some very over the top moments on here. It's not a bad album at all. If I can remember it, Michael Kiske, does sound very Bruce Dickinson, and I think he was touted as a possible replacement before they drafted him Baisley, you know, for the guy from Wolfsbane. It's too early in the morning, and yeah, it's not a bad album at all. Of course, it was Part 1, and I managed to find a copy of Part 2. Again, it followed the same formula, and they really were being popular in the UK. They did a tour, UK headlining. If you have a look on the, I'll take the, not so much the record out, but on the inner sleeve there, you can see in the 1988 tour. They were touring Iron Maiden, supporting Iron Maiden, and then they got their own slots in Germany. But they did get round to playing the headlining in the UK as well. You think this band was going to really take off, be really big, and then something always throws a spanner in the works. I'm trying to think remember the name of the guitarist. I believe his name is Kai Hansen, and he left the band, and he's very much, it's one of those bands where each member, pretty much the main songwriters were individuals, and they wrote as individuals rather than put as a band unit. And then they signed their big deal with EMI, and I think it was something like Pink Bubbles Go Ape they released, which was absolutely, from what I remember, and I only listened to it once years ago, it was an abomination. So it never was the same again. They had the chance, and in a sense, it came and went. Album by a band you don't see very often in the wild. This is Humble Pies, and this is their self-titled third album, released in 1970. This shows the band going in a slightly different edge. I won't hold this up too long because I've got a feeling it covers offence. This is a bit of erotic art that a particular, I'm trying to see if I know the name of the guy. The band designed to cover themselves, but I did read somewhere that the actual person who drew was famous for his erotic drawings. Anyway, it's the first album for A&M. Immediate had gone bust, and it signalled them going a really darker, heavier direction. There are some dark, heavy moments, but some very tender moments. I believe all members in the band got a songwriting credit. The band was progressing at that point. Frampton was still in the band. I think he'd do another album with him before he eventually left. So yeah, it was pleased to find that because they're very difficult to find. Madness, Keep Moving. This came out in 1984. Hits on here, Michael Caine, One Better Day. You'll find that the band was starting to get more serious at this point. I think they wanted to be taken more seriously. But I think the people, the fans still wanted that sort of jovial, fun-loving band, and I think the sales started to dwindle a little bit at this time. Also, I believe this is the last album that Mike Barton, who was the main songwriter at that point, recorded. He'd wanted to settle down. I think he'd married a Dutch girl, and and he wanted to sort of settle down a little bit, be with her, spend time with her. So he left the band at that point. So yeah, it's a good album. It's not, if it's not, the Madness is what people probably know and love. She's got a couple more albums to show. This is Yngwie J. Malmsteen's Rising Force Odyssey album from 1988. This was released, as I said, his fourth album. This was probably his and the record company's stab of making him, I wouldn't say sellable, because he's a talented, very good guitarist. There's no taking away from it. But his stuff tended to be sort of very guitar based, very, I don't want to say little tunes, but there's a little there that they could sell. For this album, they drafted in Jolene Turner as lead singer, and these songs here sort of reflect it's a very commercial sounding album. It did do quite well actually for him. Rising Force, Heaven Tonight, Crystal Ball, Memories. And I think around this time his mum had died as well, so there's a couple of tracks it was about that. And it's actually not a bad album. I've got a couple of his other albums as CDs where it's his pure guitar. Yes, you know that with Yngwie J. Malmsteen, with him it's about the guitar. He's sort of like compares himself to Paganini or whatever, and some of it I could just think, oh, shut up, just write some tunes. But it's not bad. It's not a bad album. Like all things, it only lasted. The lineup only lasted one album, and that was it. Last album I'm going to show you, I really was pleased to find this. This is the Rezillos, Can't Stand the Rezillos, from 1978. Signed to Sire, band from Glasgow, I think. Glasgow or Edinburgh, Scotland. This was sort of shipped out to America. It was recorded at the Power Station in 78. Bob Clearmountain, Tony Bongiovi, and the Rezillos. Top of the Pops was the big hit single on here, which was the big hit single for them. Not long after the album came out, this sort of splits occurred, and they became the Rezillos. The lineup was Joe Callis, electric guitar. He went on to join Human League. Bass guitarist Mysterious, don't know what happened to him. Angel Patson on drums, and then the vocalist Faith Fife and Eugene Reynolds. They carried on as the Rezillos. So really pleased to have this good bit of pop punk. And there you go, VC. That's what more of the albums I purchased in February. As I hope everyone has a good Sunday. The sun is shining actually. Looks like I'm going to be off. I'm going to go to the Moseley Record Fair. Moseley's the other side of the city centre. I've never been before. I've heard some good things about it. It's quite a smallish fair. Might not be that packed because there was a big fair in Birmingham yesterday, which I didn't go to. So yeah, that's going to be that's what I'm going to be doing on Sunday when I feel up to getting around to doing it. So whatever you do, VC, you have a good Sunday as well. Now, if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, click on the subscribe button. Amazingly, I've hit 299, so that's a bit of a bonus. Thumbs up, thumbs down, love the interaction. Feel free to comment. I will try and get back to you. I know I do have some replies to people, so hopefully a bit later on today I'll catch up a little bit. And likewise, I'm going to catch up with watching videos. Just being busy with life, the same, us men can't multitask. So until the next video, VC, whatever you do, take care of yourselves, keep spinning, more importantly, keep smiling.